All right, so continuing on about the benefits of fasting that I've personally experienced, and they are many, and then also the reasons why I decide that in any given, time period that I want to go into a fast, whether it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. So benefits that I've experienced, definitely that mental clarity, that sort of calming, very just aware, very in the moment mental energy, creative flow. So generally speaking, I have a lot of creative thoughts, if you will, floating around in my head or throughout the day or whatever. And when I'm extended fasting, when I kind of reach that point where everything's, really just firing on all cylinders, which for me now happens at about that 36-hour time frame. It used to be kind of 3 days in, and now it's about a day and a half in or less that I really start to feel that smooth energy and focus. So when that happens, I am able to just sort of effortlessly recipe develop, for instance. So I'll have an idea, it sounds really good, okay, blah, 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 and I'll actually sit down, do all the steps, make it happen, photograph it, document it, whatever the case may be. And it all just flows and works. So just an easier time at life, I guess, if you will. And then other benefits. So detox. So let's talk about sugar cravings for a second. All right. So this is the reason why I'm in my current fast right now, which is going to be for 3 days, maybe 4. My current fast I decided to do because I was having these crazy sugar cravings. And I'm almost like, I feel like, I guess I would be maybe an addict if I were doing drugs or something like that. But I feel that way about sugar. And I know you've probably seen lots of, people talking about, the effects of sugar on the brain and so on and so forth. And for me personally, that's definitely true. I can't have just a little bit of sugar. So a little bit turns into, it's not even really funny. I joke about it, but it's really not funny. And then one day turns into, the next day, the next day, the next day, and then multiple times a day, and things like that. So you see where this starts to sound like an addiction, and really it is. So for me, when my sugar cravings get out of control, I like to do these fasts because it really recenters me. It really cleanses out everything in my system. So there's that whole detoxification aspect. Everything is clearing out, going, leaving my system physically, but also mentally and emotionally. So, I'm not craving sugar anymore. My brain settles back down into being high functioning. So it's really remarkable how that works. Anything like, let's say, through the sugar cravings, I started to get like a little bit of or not the cravings, the actual partaking in the sugar, I started to get this little breakout situation going, right? So that's not normal for me. So another reason for me to do this fast and detoxify is just to get whatever's going on in my system kind of out, done, flushed, good. So I'll take, I drink a lot of water, I told you. I'll also take the activated charcoal. That helps sort of mop up, extra toxins, things like that, just excrete them out through your normal processes. Number 1 and number 2. And it's just good. It's a good feeling to get everything cleansed. What else? Other relationship, healing your relationship with food. And all these things kind of are intertwined a little bit. But so in the past, and this hasn't been the case for me in a while, but in the past, my whole life, actually, up until a couple of years ago probably, I definitely was focused on food. I don't know why. There's probably some deep-seated reason from my childhood. I have no idea. Focused on food, always. It's the most exciting moment of the day. When I wasn't making a meal or eating a meal, I'm like thinking about what am I going to be making, or what am I going to be eating, what am I going to be enjoying. Right after eating, oh, that was so good. Can't stop talking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. Those are really a lot of, food-related thoughts. Those are thoughts I could have been putting towards much more productive avenues. Okay, so healing your relationship with food. I don't have those thoughts any longer. And that has come through changing my diet, really. But also these fasts really bring that home as well. They really seal the deal on that. So, you figure out when you launch into one of these fasts and you have all this time to think about whatever it is you choose to think about. And let's say there's a food that keeps popping up that you just keep thinking, wow, boy, I really wish I had spaghetti right now, or I really wish I had like a chocolate bar, whatever. If it's just something that keeps recurring, then it's probably a good idea to think about, when you're not doing these fasts, or when you're in your normal sort of eating routine, maybe those items that I kept, craving and focusing on might be trigger foods for me. So it's enlightening from that perspective. There's just so many benefits, the health benefits. So you talk about the detoxification process, and then also cellular regeneration. So things that we do like a protein fast for, well, you're automatically protein fasting because you're fasting everything, during these fasts. So you get that good, cellular turnover, that autophagy, as some say. I say it both ways. I never know which is correct. It's fantastic. There's a lot of free time to do other things. Focus on your family. Take up a hobby. Go work out. Yes, I do work out during my fasting. What else? Do some chores around the house. Go grocery shopping. Cook a great meal. It's very interesting to me that I can be fueled by these ketones that are naturally present in my body, and have so much ability to cook one of my, favorite meals and not be, not feel like there's anything I'm missing. Just to actually enjoy the process of creating and cooking this meal without the added, Labrador brain type thing going, when am I going to get to eat this? I can't wait to eat this. Oh, I've got to hurry, take a picture so I can eat this, That's gone. So you just have the sheer, pure enjoyment of whatever, the activity is, and as I was speaking about, in this case, cooking. So that's it. So I've talked about some of the benefits. I've talked about fasting. I've talked about kind of why I've decided to do the fast, I'm currently in. And then other reasons I might do a fast, obviously, weight loss or weight management. If you had a weekend where you just went, batshit crazy and like drank yourself silly and ate foods you don't normally eat and you feel like crap, something like that. I mean, maybe a fast might not be a bad idea. Probably shouldn't be your first time doing a fast after a situation like that, because it could be particularly uncomfortable. So I recommend doing your first fast after you've had a clean diet, at least for a few weeks. So when your diet's been good and clean and all of that, and ideally you're in ketosis, so you've monitored your carbs and protein intake, and kept those in those proper categories, and you've had high fats, and so your body has switched to using fat for fuel. That's a kind of an ideal time to dip your toe in the water of fasting, because it'll be a lot more comfortable. Your body will still likely need to go through an adjustment period, but that will be in theory, significantly less painful than if you launched into it right after a weekend of craziness. Yeah, that's about it. So any questions, any thoughts, any comments? I love to hear them. So just throw them in the comments and let me know.